Trade rumors keep on coming, and we know who the Milwaukee Bucks are trying to target next. I'm Jake Finnerty, and welcome on into Bucks Digest. If you want to keep it locked on all things Milwaukee Bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. 97% of the people watching are not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. You'll stay up to date on all things Milwaukee Bucks. We keep these videos pumping. Now, with that being said, let's get right into the newest news, and that's that the Milwaukee Bucks we've seen are very eager to trade, but we know what name the Milwaukee Bucks are targeting and monitoring next, and that's Brandon Ingram. The tweet here reads that as the potential Brandon Ingram trade spots grow thinner in number, the Milwaukee Bucks and LA Clippers could be teams monitoring the All-Star, per Will Gilroy of The Athletic. Teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and the LA Clippers use Ingram to boost their title chances. The pressure on the Pelicans grows with each day they fail to solve their Brandon Ingram problem. Brandon Ingram, it's no secret that this guy is a star in the league. Taking a look at his stats here, he's going to average you a little over 20 points a game, get you 5 rebounds a game, get you close to 6 assists per game, can shoot the ball, is a shot creator. Brandon Ingram would be a great guy to have in Milwaukee, but the real question is, what is it going to take to get him? Now, of course, this is where the fun part comes in. I took the liberty yet again of drafting up 3 trade scenarios that could happen for Brandon Ingram to end up in the 414. Now, the first one here is a bit complex. You know, we involve the Pacers here, trying to fill a couple of holes for the Bucks overall, because Brandon Ingram's contract is going to be a little bit much to take on for what the Bucks have in store. We know it's no secret they're trying to get rid of Brook Lopez. So in this trade, Brandon Ingram and TJ McConnell both come to Milwaukee. We add a little bit of that pesky defense with McConnell and playmaking, a little bit of shot creation with him. But Brook Lopez, in this instance, is going to New Orleans. Now, Aaron Nesmith will also end up in New Orleans because the Pacers are getting Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, and Jose Alvarado to fix that gap that they lose with TJ McConnell. Portis and Connaughton are guys that are very flexible to move for Milwaukee right now. Guys that they're not afraid of having to move on from to create space in this cap. And especially because in this regard, you're getting rid of 3 guys. You're opening up an extra roster spot because you're only taking on 2. You have a lot of wiggle room to work with as you test that free agency. As clearly we've seen, they're probably going after Gary Trent Jr. There's a very good chance that we see multiple guys go in this trade, and all of these trades you'll see, I've included 3 teams because I think it's a little bit more realistic that they do a big overload trying to take on this Brandon Ingram contract if the time comes. So, moving on to this second trade, we've got the Hornets in this one. We're taking on Brandon Ingram and Mark Williams on only a $4 million deal per year. He may be a little bit weird to fit in with Giannis, I think, in hindsight of making this trade, but I think Mark Williams is a guy, if you have Giannis on your bench, can easily come off and be a good, solid bench 5 that will be able to play the big role in the paint, defense-wise, scoring-wise, and certainly rebounding-wise. He gets a lot of rebounds per game, and this is only, he's going into his 3rd year here in the league. Going on, the Pelicans here are getting Grant Williams and Bobby Portis, adding 2 power forwards, actually. I don't know if that's necessarily what they're going to be looking for, as they're looking for space with Zion still there. But Grant Williams and Bobby Portis can both be stretch guys, play a little bit outside the paint if they need to, and Portis, even so, can play off the bench. We saw him in the 6th Man of the Year race last year. So I think that's a good scenario for them, getting Grant Williams, a guy who can shoot, and Bobby Portis, a guy who can really be flexible wherever you need him. Now, the Hornets here are getting Brook Lopez and Pat Connaughton. Why? Well, LaMelo Ball needs shooters. He needs guys that can shoot the ball. Brook Lopez being a big that can play outside and kind of benefit from that playmaking, that's a perfect scenario for him, and Pat Connaughton being a shooting guard that will complement the playmaking of LaMelo Ball, being able to shoot the ball beside him, especially stationary, get in that spot and put a shot up. I think that's a good scenario. That scenario truthfully helps the Hornets a lot, which they've got a lot going on. Clearly they have for the past couple of years, that they're really looking for a guy to truly take over what they need. I think that helps them out a little bit in those gaps that they need to fill. But this final trade kind of brings us to just a simplistic approach, which is what we may need, and that's bringing on Brandon Ingram, but Lauri Markkanen actually filling Brandon Ingram's place in New Orleans while also adding Pat Connaughton, Brook Lopez, and Marshawn Beauchamp going to Utah. I think here it's going to be a little bit interesting trying to work it out contract-wise. You may have to shuffle around and redo some deals, move some money to try and make sure that you can take all this on while only getting rid of those three guys. But really, the Pelicans are going to bite at this, trying to get Lauri on his $18 million deal and take him in for an extension. Pat Connaughton, of course, like we were just talking about, a stationary shooter, can easily be put in there with Zion as well. Zion dishing it out to Connaughton for a 3 would be good for the Pelicans. But the Jazz, of course, looking at getting Brook Lopez in there, that's really the soul of that of their part, and taking up that center role and taking up the role of what could hopefully complement that Utah team. But Brandon Ingram coming to Milwaukee, I think, would be huge. You make up for the lack of play of what Chris Middleton has been on for the past couple of years, only averaging around 15 points and really not playing every single game. I think Brandon Ingram can slide into a more sophisticated role, one would say, of what Chris Middleton should have been playing, and you add him in with Dame and Giannis, you got a big 3 that is fighting against that of the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Sixers' newly assembled big 3. If you want to see Brandon Ingram in Milwaukee, make sure to comment down below and comment your trades on what you think could get him here.